Hi, Sean Higgins here. Again, you know the drill. Click the links, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me how beautiful my new shirt is, I guess, or my lovely Rolex watch that I've had for 15 years. I love this thing. It's my everyday watch. Let's talk about analyzing a property. It's funny because I got this question at a class recently, and it's really interesting how people overthink it. Okay, so let me give you an example of what I mean by this. So if I'm looking at a property that's worth approximately $280,000 ARV after rehab value. So I'm assuming that every single property I get with a tax deed is going to need some work. Now, you're not going to be able to go into the property like you are with somebody that does, hey, I've got an investment property, and you're going to crawl in the basement, you're going to see all those things, get an inspection report. Not going to happen. Okay, so if I'm looking at the property, I'm assuming it's going to need a little lipstick and makeup, so to speak. So what I'm looking at is this. So now I've got to determine what my bid price is on this thing. And so let's just go back to the 280. Let's just say it's worth 280,000. And I'm kind of laughing because I've watched some of my colleagues, so to speak, on YouTube and what have you, talking about different ways. And I'm not to analyze a property. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting into, some big software that has to analyze, what's my ROI, my return on investment, what's my cash on cash return, all of those things, because at this point, I've got to assume things. So let's just talk about this house we were just recently looking at. It was worth $280,000. Really nice neighborhood. The comps were all coming in. That's what I got to do. I got to look at the comps. I can pull my own comps. What's sold in the area. Now, right now, I don't want my comps more than 45, 60 days old because the market's fluctuating in different directions quickly, and a lot of them are going down, so you want to be careful with that. So I got a really strong 280 on the property. Opening bid was like $20,000. I'm not smoking crack. I don't think I'm going to get this thing at $20,000. I know that. So I've got to go in there prepared to win. And so I'm looking at it going, okay, I got three different things I can do with this property. I can either sell it on a wholesale basis, I can fix it up and sell it, or I can rent it out. All three of those have to be in my purview of looking at it. So if I'm just looking at it, it's $280,000. People ask me, so how do you do this so quickly? Some of it's, a lot of it's experience, but I'm looking at this going, okay, this is, it was a student of mine, it was Chris. I said, you need to be at about 155 to 160 on this property to be competitive. I'm probably thinking about $40,000 worth of rehab on this in a bad case scenario. Anything more than that, then we go to plan B, which is wholesale. So if he puts $40,000 into it, he's in it. He's got a 33% discount on the property. Start figuring your rent on that. This property rents out for $2,800 to $3,000 a month. That's what the neighborhood is. Okay, multiply that by 12. That's your annual rent on that thing. Knock out 30% for operating accounts. You say you're horrible at operating as that's where you can make up some room in your ROI. But let's just go with that. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine at that. So there's that. If I wholesale it, and let's say I get it at 160, and I turn around and sell it to a flipper, and I sell it to him for $200,000, there's $40,000 in my pocket right away. I'm okay with that. If I decide to fix it and it's cost me $200,000 by the time I put the 40 into it, and I sell it at 160, back out real estate commissions, maybe about $50,000, that's okay also. There's all sorts of different scenarios, but I'm not going into a market and having to go, okay, I'm buying this property that's worth $280 for $250. I better do my rehab correctly. Does it return on dollar? What are like properties? I'm not there. I'm not doing that. So I don't need to get as detailed about it, but I do need to know how to figure out what ARV is. How much is ARV? What is the value of that house when I fix it up? And I'm running blind. I don't know what this property looks like inside. So, but again, I've got exit strategies. I'm in it 160. If this thing had 27 cats living in it and it was like, PU, okay, I can wholesale it out for 180 and make $20,000 on it. There's so many different things that I can outlet there. Again, I could or I get a win-win deal and I go in there and each $20,000 worth of lipstick, and now I'm in at 180. Man, I'm just happy as a pig in mud. I'm keeping that property for long-term wealth building. There's three things. Short-term is going to be a wholesale. Okay, remember capital gains on that. Long-term, I'm going to keep it rented out. And third, but certainly not least, fix and flip, but you're still looking at short-term capital gains on that one also. That's the basic way that I'm looking at this stuff. There are plenty of videos, and I'll do one later on also, on how I come down to what the value of that property is and how I got to it. But that's it in a nutshell. I mean, as far as rent and what have you. There's a lot of them out there. They're all real good. I've seen them on all these different websites, and I look at it and go, gosh, I just do it on the back of the napkin. So maybe we'll take a property and do back of the napkin, and I'll show you some of that stuff. But for right now, that's what you need to do. Long story short on this is you got to get to an auction. You got to do your research, figure out what your max bid, and show up. You can't win at football unless you show up to the field. So there's Sean Higgins. If you got any questions to that, or you disagree with me and you think I'm crazy, I love that too. Put it inside the comments in there. And be careful out there. They're shooting live ammo. Markets are going all over the place. Peace.